Alright guys, so I'm back from that brief little stint of illness, and I'm going to do a what's on my phone video because I get asked on a fairly often basis what I think of several different phones, and what's the point in telling you my thoughts on phones if you first don't know what my daily driver is and what I use on that daily driver. Also got some fun videos coming up soon, look at those. So without further ado, let's get into the video. This is what's on my phone 2018. First thing to note is the phone isn't actually mine. I'm borrowing a phone off my good friend Morgan because I actually don't own a phone at the moment. So I'm using the OnePlus 3 in the 6GB, 64GB model. Now I'm currently just using the stock launcher. It's the one that comes with Oxygen OS and it's running Oreo 8.0. This is roughly stock Android and it's kind of just the way I like it. I don't like any heavy skins on phones, although it is nice to customize them and have that ability. I don't like the stock software to be too overcrowded, and this is nice and simple with the standard clock widget on the left and the standard search button at the top. Also, I only have one homepage, so let me lead you through the first little row of apps. First off is Google Keep. It is really interesting and really useful to have because it's kind of the notes app that syncs across all devices and is built into Android and Google's ecosystem, of which I am thoroughly involved with. The Google ecosystem is one that I really like and it works across all my devices and even my Mac, which is nice. Anyway, Google Keep is what I use for lists and, well, basically just lists. There are some other cool things, but lists are the main thing that I use it for. Next to that is the Philips Hue app because this light, and that light are all Philips Hue based bulbs, so I can change the color of them with this app. Next to that is Facebook Messenger. This is something I just started using again because it's really useful to talk to family and friends with it, although it's something that I try not to use because one, it takes up a lot of battery life, and two, it's just not as good messaging app in my opinion as WhatsApp. Reddit is on there because I really like looking at Reddit. If you guys don't know this thing called Petscop, it's kind of like this crazy creepypasta thing that I'm really super into at the moment, and Reddit is a really good way to keep up with things on the r/Petscop subreddit. LastPass is on there because I use it for security. I do have multiple layers of security, so this isn't my primary source of security, but it's also the one that I use the most frequently with my phone, as you can kind of connect it with your phone. I really like LastPass and would recommend it to anyone who uses just the same password for every single thing. No, this isn't sponsored. Just below that is a Google Play Store because, funnily enough, I do actually look for apps a lot of the time, I just don't download them. Next to that is Instagram. This is something that I used to use a lot but haven't been using over the past few days or even months as I've actually been so ill, but I'm actually going to try and get back into it. I've got some photos from when it was snowing over the past couple of days and hopefully get those up on there soon. Next to that is my most used app at the moment, which is Discord. I love Discord to bits. I'm in a couple of different Discord groups. I have my own Discord server with all my friends and I play Counter-Strike on that. However, I am also in the Social Blade Discord, so I recommend you go and check that out. Its link is available on the Social Blade website, which hopefully I'll leave in the video description, but I really like that Discord, especially if you're a content creator. It's nice to merge with other content creators and bounce around ideas. Next to that is Twitter, which is probably my second most used app. It's where I waste most of my time. I really like Twitter. I really like that a lot of my creator friends and a lot of my creator influences are on there, such as Linus Tech Tips, MKBHD, Gary V, people like that. Next to that is actually a weird one. It's a bit of a Google folder, and there are some Google apps in there because, like I said, I'm heavily invested in the Google ecosystem that I might not use as much as Google Keep, but I certainly use them a lot. Primarily though, the ones I use are YouTube, which is really useful for watching YouTube videos, and I actually cast a lot of my stuff to my TV via my Android TV, which is super useful. The next most used one is probably the Creator Studio app. I love this application. It's got insanely up-to-date analytics and statistics and helps me keep track of my progress on an hour-by-hour basis, which I really like. It's also where I reply to the comments most of the time with you guys. And the three other apps that I use in this folder mainly are Gmail, which is useful for checking email, although I don't use it as much as I use Gmail on the desktop, primarily because I have multiple Gmail accounts that I need to manage and it's a little bit too tricky and fiddly on a phone. And I use Google Docs and Sheets for everything to do with Failtech. So when I write videos and when I keep up to date with what videos I've uploaded, I use Sheets, which is like Excel, and Docs, which is like Microsoft Word. Then in my dock, I have WhatsApp on the far right, which I primarily use to communicate with Katie, my girlfriend. That's just because I don't really like text messages. I really like the online presence of WhatsApp. Next to that is of course Google Chrome. This is something that I find is just a standard web browser on pretty much every platform these days, and okay, I kind of prefer Firefox in some situations. Google Chrome is just so convenient with its multi-platform syncing. In the middle is Spotify, which is a very highly used app in my phone. Unfortunately, I just ran out of the premium trial thing, so I won't be using that for a little while. However, the actual free version of Spotify is one that I find is really good, and I actually listen to a lot of podcasts on there, so it's awesome for that as well. To the left there we have Phone and Messages, which are the apps that I use to communicate with my parents and old people. In that app drawer, there aren't actually many apps that I use on a regular basis. There's Backdrops, which is what I use for my backgrounds, and of course there are a couple of games, Words with Friends and 8 Ball Pool. I haven't played either of those in a couple of months, funnily enough, but they are there anyway in case I really want to play a game, although they do require the internet. MyFitnessPal is one that stands out. It's one of those apps that I want to use more. However, this phone's camera doesn't work very well, which I'll get into in a second, and means that it's difficult to scan items into the inventory. My banking app and a few other apps in there that are just kind of useful, but they're not insanely useful on an everyday basis. They're Amazon, eBay, Gumtree, and apps that I use to search and shop. But since I don't have a lot of money these days, those apps aren't really used a lot at all. And like I mentioned, the camera app is not on the home screen, which is weird. One, because you can double tap the home button to get to the camera with OnePlus devices, so that's pretty easy. But second, the camera doesn't work. It produces some really fuzzy and weird blurry images because the autofocusing system is broken. Morgan's still got this phone under warranty, so he's going to get it fixed in the near future. However, it's not something that I can really do right now. Well guys, that's pretty much it. There isn't really anything special about this one. In my Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, what's on my phone video, I had plenty more apps and it was actually a lot easier to use because the camera worked. So it kind of made the other apps like Instagram and the camera app more relevant to me, especially MyFitnessPal as well. I really like the OnePlus 3, I think it's an absolutely great buy, and I do recommend it to any of you looking for a cheap smartphone because it's still excellent. If you like the video, please do like it or dislike it if you disliked it. Tell me in the comments your thoughts and tell me what phones you want to see, and please do subscribe if you're new around here to never miss a video like this one. Like I said, I'm going back into my upload schedule again, so Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays at 6 PM GMT or BST, I can't remember, but British time basically. And follow me on social media if you want. I'll leave the ats and stuff on the screen now. Hopefully you've really enjoyed this video. Mine has been Ryan Thomas with Feltech. I'm glad to be back, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.